I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're speaking with author Lauren Aebig, who has created a wonderful world between the covers of her book. It is called Martha and the Mighty Vortex. She takes readers on a transformative journey, showcasing the challenges of self-identity and the power of self-belief. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank our team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel. Lauren, thanks so much for being our guest today here on Spotlight.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. Love your protagonist, Martha. She feels like a lot of us do at times, out of place, at school and at home. What made you choose such a relatable theme, and how do you think it will resonate with readers, or how does it resonate with readers?
Well, I was actually a teacher. I was a practicing teacher at the time that I wrote Martha, and I just saw a lot of the themes in the kids I worked with. They didn't feel like they belonged at home. They didn't feel like they belonged at school. They, just finding that sense of who they were was quite the theme. And I couldn't find any books that really talked about that specific topic. So I decided to write one. The thought kind of came in, and I just started writing as a teacher. But it took me years just because I was so busy. But
Exactly. Well, being a full-time teacher and a part-time writer is a lot to juggle, I am sure. Tell me, let's tell the folks at home the big picture. What's the central storyline of the book?
the central storyline would just be finding your own self identity in the world, but then realizing that you wanted one thing and discovering that once you had that thing, that it wasn't exactly what you wanted. So more that sense of finding your own self in the world.
Yeah,
I would
absolutely.
be the theme, but also I wanted to inspire kids to know that their dreams can come true as well. Like bring a bit of that magic into the mundane, normal existence of growing up, but to also bring in that inspiration and magic and wonder and curiosity, which I find a lot of kids have lost with the experiences they've had in their lives that I've worked with. So I kind of wanted to give that back.
Well, I think you did a great job with it. I love the magical elements of it. Kind of reminds me of an Alice Hoffman novel in some ways, if you're familiar with her work. She kind of creates a world where people rely on things like intuition and magic and love to make things happen. Intuition plays a significant role in guiding Martha to that secret clearing. Tell us about the importance of intuition in our lives and how you depicted it in your book.
Well, yes, and intuition was definitely a big part of Martha and following her heart and kind of recognizing that it's important to follow your heart. Because I don't think Martha at the beginning realized that, because she was kind of discovering her own intuition. Um, but yes, intuition is a huge part of it.
And magic is part of it as well. The magic that Martha discovers changes her perception of herself and how she views the world as well. Tell us about why you had this realm of magic in your story, and what do you hope readers will take away from it?
Well, the element of magic, I think the world is, I guess it's the kid in me coming out. I think the world does have some magic in it, whether, I mean, you believe in like if it's God or if it's nature, or that there is more to the world than what we think exists. So I just really wanted that inspiration, that wonder to come out for the kids, to inspire them as well. And I wanted to actually depict magic as a form, and that was the actual dog was magic as well. So I really wanted to hit it home that magic does exist, and there is just that wonder in the world.
Exactly. And I do think young people are becoming cynical and a tad jaded at a younger age than they ever were before, and believing in magic throughout your life, I think is a wonderful thing. Like you said, whether it's faith or whether it is, magic as we commonly perceive it. Self-belief is an important theme in your book when it comes to overcoming challenges. And I'd imagine those are some lessons that you picked up as a school teacher as well.
Yes, and I think that's so important to have that self-belief and to follow your own heart and follow your own self rather than just following the crowd. Like with Martha, she wanted to be really popular, but then she realized popularity came with a price. And she didn't just follow the crowd, she did follow that internal wisdom that I think is so important for kids to follow. And they don't always have the role models, or they don't have the belief, or they don't have people in their lives that can guide them. So I think it's so important for kids to follow their heart. And
Absolutely.
and I've talked to many children and youth about that, especially the ones that are in scary places or in a, they've forgotten about magic and the intuition inside them. So I wanted to really bring that back for children and youth and adults as well. I wanted a story that would be enjoyable for adults to read with their kids as well.
Absolutely. I think it will resonate with people of all ages. Now, your book also addresses complex topics like self-esteem and belonging, all in a fantastical setting. How did you manage to balance realism of these issues with the whimsical elements of the story?
Like I actually prepping for this interview, I was kind of wondering how I did that and thinking, what are the themes? And there's many layers in Martha, and I wanted it to be like that because it was originally written as a resource as well. I wanted to be able to use it in English and language arts as well, and in the counseling setting too. So how did I do that? It just kind of manifested in itself. Like I just followed my intuition in the book as well. So it kind of mirrors what Martha's doing. I just kind of followed my own creative imagination to create the story with the layers. It kind of just happened. I'm not.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's what inspiration is. It all comes together. We don't know the why. We try to go back afterwards and reflect upon the process. But sometimes, magic happens. Whether it's, the magic in your story or the magic of pounding some keys on your computer and getting the words just right, the themes right, just right, and the story just right. Now, have you envisioned Martha and the Mighty Vortex perhaps as a film?
No, but it's funny that you said that because my friend we went for coffee yesterday and she was talking about that. She's like, well, Martha, it sounds like a great character. She could be in a film. So I've been thinking about that today, actually, and yesterday, since my friend said that, how to develop Martha into a film. But I think it would be interesting to see her as a film because I really did want to develop a character. Like Martha, to actually develop a more integrated character, like not just like a two-dimensional character, but more in depth. So I think she would work as a character in a film for sure.
Absolutely. What a thrill to see this world that you've created, now created again by Hollywood with the blueprint that you have laid out for them. So I think that would be wonderful. Are you working on any other books, a sequel to Martha and the Mighty Vortex, perhaps?
Well, I have been thinking about another book, possibly Martha and the Mighty Me. So going a little more internal work into Martha. So
Mhm.
it'd be a little more social, emotional, uh, themed, but just going a bit deeper into Martha. But it hasn't quite manifested, but the title did come, and I have been thinking about possibly a second book,
And
which is
again,
funny.
that's
As one ends, another one came in. I'm like, oh no, it was a lot of work. It was more work than I thought it would be.
exactly. But it's a labor of love. I know it's fun to live in that world when you're creating something. You almost don't want to leave it. Do you write early in the morning, late at night? When is your time to write?
Either or, probably more in the night because it would be like after work or whatnot in the
Right.
evening. I think would be the time that I write the most.
Wonderful one. And who is your audience for this book? I know it appeals to people of all ages, but did you have a targeted audience in mind when you wrote it?
Yes, like 7, 8, 9, 7 to maybe even 12. Like you could, I want it to be written in a way that was easy to read, so a lot of kids could read it, but at the
Yeah,
same time, having deeper themes and deeper messages. So old, like if you were older, you could read it to a younger child, or you could still get something out of it even as an adult.
exactly. I also think
Like,
it would provoke a lot of great conversations with the parent and child while reading this book, because there are themes that can be expanded upon, expounded upon more by the parent in discussions with the child, which is wonderful, because then again, it takes it away from the page and makes it a connection between parent and child, or the child coming to the parent after reading it and asking mom or dad, what's this all about? So you have created a winner here for sure. It's a wonderful book. Martha and the Mighty Vortex, written by Lauren Aebig. It takes readers of all ages, I feel, on a transformative journey, showcasing the challenges of self-identity, the power of self-belief, and of course, reassuring us all that there is still magic in this world. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
oh, thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity to be able to
My,
talk about Martha.
I'm sorry, what cut you off?
Oh, thank you for letting me talk about Martha and the Mighty Vortex.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. My pleasure. I enjoyed our talk. And to the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.